Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches. Today I am going to bring to your attention a super affordable, budget, hand-winding mechanical watch from Aliexpress that only cost me 45 Australian dollars. And it's a really nice watch. However, there is a really big negative to it. And when I flip the camera around, I'll explain that to you. It doesn't take away from how good this watch is, but it was slightly upsetting when the watch arrived. Stay tuned and I will show that when I flip the camera around. If, however, after watching this video you are keen to pick this one up, well, I'm going to leave one of those affiliate links down below. Feel free to click on that. It will take you straight to the AliExpress store where I purchased it from, and you'll be able to buy it. Now, if you do use that link, I will earn a tiny little bit of commission. So I do a thank you and appreciate it if you choose to do so. Now, this watch, as I said, has a bit of a negative to it, and it's nothing to do with the looks, it's nothing to do with the quality, it's certainly nothing to do with the super affordable 45 Australian dollar price tag. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip it around, I'm going to get into the full review of it so you can see what this issue is and how good this watch actually is. Just before we do, however, do you mind just click on that subscribe button if you haven't already done so? Thank you so much. All right, let's check out this watch. So this is a super affordable watch, and as such I don't expect much out of the packaging, and I didn't get much out of the packaging. I got a black box that was all squished. I'm perfectly okay with that. Super affordable watch, no problems at all. But I do have a big problem. I have a very big problem with this watch. And the problem is that the people selling it have lied about the size of it. It is a problem. It's not a problem about this watch. It's a good watch. I really do like it, but it's not the watch that I ordered or the watch that I thought I ordered. And what is the watch that I ordered? Well, let me put up a photo here. In the description, as well as the specifications, they state that this watch is a 39mm watch. And that is not the case at all. That is an absolute blatant lie. I can tell you for a fact that the case diameter is 35.8. Even when you add in the crown, it's not 39mm. So I have no idea where they're getting that from. And it's a real shame because this should have arrived and I should have been very impressed and very interested and very happy about it. But because it's completely the wrong size, it really did give a bit of a negative point to it. But whilst we're talking about the dimensions, let me mention the others. It is 10.7mm wide, which is really nice thin profile, and it's able to achieve that because it's a hand wind only mechanical watch. We have a slightly annoying lug width of 19mm and a nice, very nice compact lug to lug of 43.8mm. And on this supplied leather strap, we're only looking at 48 grams. So now that I've given you the dimensions, and now that I have expressed to you how annoyed or how disappointed I am in the sizes not being what they promised in their ad, let's move on, because beside that, it is actually a really nice watch. And let's just check out this dial, because it is a really nice dial. It sort of reminds me of a champagne dial, except for it's not that sort of yellowy or pinky. It's more of a sort of a, let's say, pearl dial, but it has a slight shimmer to it, which is quite nice. Has applied indices all the way around, and they're sort of multifaceted to give you those sort of different angles. It has these polished hands, a polished second hand with a nice little touch of red there. There is an applied logo up here at the 12. It then says Shanghai printed, and then it has the Fang Zhen or whatever that actually says. I apologize if I butchered that. 19 Zon, which I think is talking about 19 joules within the movement. Also printed around the outside, we have a minute track. There is no lume on this watch, so I won't bother showing you a lume shot, but it is all covered by this nice boxed acrylic crystal, which really suits this watch. It has that sort of vintage vibes to it, so having acrylic on it really does suit it. Also, it probably helps to keep the cost down. Now, the rest of the watch is actually what probably impresses me the most. It's just got a very nice, very simple, all polished case, and I really do like the look of it. I do like the feel of it, and I like how it is slightly curved. For somebody with a slightly smaller wrist, this watch would be amazing. It really, really would. It has an unsigned crown. It's push-pull only. As mentioned, inside here we have a hand-winding movement. I'm not quite sure what that movement is. I'm assuming since it's a Shanghai watch, it is likely to be a Chinese movement. It feels quite nice when you wind it up. It's not gritty, you can hear it, but it is actually very, very smooth. And when you do pull out the crown, there is no hacking, as you can see. There's no ghost position either, so it is purely a three-hand watch. One of the highlights for me is actually the case back. I think it has a really nice 3D case back, showing you that it's the Shanghai, these words here, the logo, and some more text along there. But it has actually quite a nice sort of feel to it. It's very, very soft to touch. It's kind of cool. As you can see, 19mm, which is a little bit odd, but I guess from a visual perspective, it does suit the watch. If you had it slightly thinner, like at 18mm, it might look a little bit dainty, especially since it's a smaller watch. But if you moved it up to 20, it might not suit the watch at all. So that's probably why they've gone with that 19mm. And the strap that does come with it is one of those sort of faux crocodile leather straps. It's pretty much exactly what you expect from sort of the Aliexpress watches at around this price, or those sort of cheaper ones. It's okay, it's usable. It does sort of suit the watch. It has that sort of 70s vibe to it, both with the watch and this fake alligator sort of crocodile strap. But it's probably not my favorite strap. And something that is going to be interesting to me and hopefully interesting to you is how this movement is on the time grapher. So let's check it out. So let's look at the figures only at this point. Running at 21,600 vibrations per hour, 0.5 beat error, which is not perfect, but it's actually okay. Amplitude is fine, plus 7 seconds a day. That's actually really good. I'm really appreciative of that. However, when we start seeing snow like this on the time grapher, it does tell you that one, either the movement is just a little bit cheap, or secondly, there is something significantly wrong with the movement. In this case, I do think it is because it is a sort of a cheaper, more budget movement inside this watch. But from a day-to-day sort of wearing, it actually is not too bad. It will move back and forth a little bit, but for a watch that's under 50 Australian dollars, it doesn't bother me too much. If this was on a $200 watch or a $500 watch, it would concern me a lot. And one of the things that surprises me most about this watch, after complaining about it not being the right size, is I think it actually looks okay on my wrist. Maybe I'm just changing my mind in regards to sizes of watches on my wrist, but I think this one actually works quite well. Even though it is quite small, even though the lug-to-lug is quite small, I have to admit I've had watches that are around this size before that have felt a lot smaller on wrist than this one. This one I think actually looks a little bit better. And this is on a 6 3/4 inch wrist. It's relatively comfortable. I like how the watch sits on my wrist. I don't like the feel of the strap particularly. It does feel a bit stiff and a bit hard. I'm sure if I wore it a lot, it would meld into me a lot more, but it's not my favorite strap. And being 19mm, it's probably going to be a little bit harder to find something for this one. However, overall, for the price, I think it is a good looking watch. So what do I like about this one? What don't I like about it? And what would I change? Well, number one, I think it is actually a good looking watch. It is certainly a big tick for a watch if you like the look of it, especially the case. It's just a very nice, simple profile. I like how it curves. I like how it sits on the wrist. Just nice. And at this budget price, it's a really nice looking watch. You don't always get a good looking watch when you're looking at the super affordable side of things. And I think the actual quality of the watch is a lot better than I expected as well. And as mentioned, I do like that case back. I think that's a really nice looking case back. I always do appreciate a nice case back. So what don't I like? Well, as mentioned, I don't like how they told a lie in regards to selling the watch to me. And that is how I do feel, because they have listed it all over their ad on AliExpress that it is 39mm. It is not. But let's put that aside. What is it about this watch that perhaps I don't like too much? For me, the hands are a little bit short. They're a little bit stubby. It's not a big thing. I don't think it looks terrible, but that's probably not my favorite thing about it. And this strap, I don't like the strap. I have to admit, it's probably not my favorite strap that I've ever worn on a watch. So what would I change? Well, let's come back to size again. If they just increase this just a tiny little bit, even to 37mm, maybe 38mm, I think it would be absolutely fantastic. It would sit even better on wrist, and it would just be a really nice watch. If they extended those hands out just a tiny fraction and they put a better strap on it, then it would be a marvelous piece of engineering, a marvelous budget watch that you could buy, and I would be absolutely recommending it to everybody. At this stage, I think I would still recommend it to people, but they need to be aware of the size and they need to be aware of just the dimensions overall and the strap that it comes with. Okay guys, let's flip back to me now and I'll give you some of my final thoughts on this Shanghai watch. So I've bought lots of watches from Aliexpress and sometimes they don't sort of look exactly like they do in the photos. Sometimes they are slightly misrepresented perhaps, but I don't really ever think that they are lying to me, the stores. I sort of look at them and go, yes, they're just trying to represent their watches the best that they can, and try and make them look good, have slightly photoshopped photos, and you can see that they are photoshopped if that is the case. However, I had never had a watch arrive that was completely misrepresented from a size perspective. And I think it is such a disappointing thing because this is a good watch. It is really nice to look at. It is really nice in hand. And I think it looks good on wrist as well. I just wish they had actually written the correct size in the description and the title of their AliExpress store advertisement for this particular watch. Because I'm not sure what they're expecting when you order a 39mm watch and a watch arrives that's less than 36mm. There's a really big difference in size there. But that aside, it is a lovely watch. And if you are interested in a slightly smaller watch that strangely enough actually wears a little bit bigger than it sounds, then this one is a super affordable, budget and really good quality little watch. Okay guys, that's all from me today. I really do appreciate you watching and I do hope to see you in the next video.